Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to crack open the source material, give you the knowledge you need, and do it fast. Today, we're tackling something that trips up a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
How do you really know if a cybersecurity service is any good? Specifically, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing VAPT.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had to hire for this, you know the drill. Companies flash these badges, right? We're cert in empaneled.
Or ISO certified.
Exactly. And this idea has really taken hold, this sort of flawed assumption that good VAPT has to come from a company with a specific logo or, a government stamp.
Right. And look, those certifications, they have their place. Compliance often demands them. But they're not the only thing that matters. Sometimes they're not even the main thing. Our mission today, based on the sources we looked at, is to get past that paper trail. We want to unpack the three things that really define quality of VAPT: capability, ethics, and ultimately, impact.
Perfect. And for you listening, the goal here is simple. Shift your thinking. If you understand what actually makes security work effective, you can find a partner who genuinely protects you, not just someone who ticks a box for compliance.
Because at the end of the day, when a real attack hits, that logo on the report, it doesn't matter half as much as whether they actually found the holes and helped you fix them.
So true.
Okay,
let's dig in. First pillar, technical capability. This is the engine, right?
absolutely.
VAPT isn't just running some automated tool. It's hands-on. It needs deep, sometimes really gritty expertise.
Yeah.
You need to think like an attacker.
You really do. Zero-day knowledge, adversarial mindset, it's all part of it.
So if it's so technical, why is everyone obsessed with the corporate logos and the formal badges? It seems disconnected.
Well, that's where the evidence gets interesting. The sources really challenge this idea that expertise only lives in these huge certified firms.
How so?
Think about where the really groundbreaking vulnerability discoveries come from. Often, it's independent researchers.
Right, the lone wolves sometimes.
Or ethical hackers, maybe small, super-focused startup teams. These folks live and breathe exploitation techniques. They're not always part of some massive certified entity.
And the sources gave a killer example of this: bug bounty programs.
Oh, yeah, that's compelling stuff.
Think about it. Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. Companies with absolutely everything on the line.
The biggest targets in the world.
They don't just rely on big audit firms. They run these massive global bug bounty programs. And who do they invite?
Anyone.
Anyone with the skills. Students, freelancers, tiny specialized outfits.
Yeah.
They're basically saying, if you can find it, we want to know.
It's crowdsourced VAPT, essentially, and it shows they trust verifiable skill, like raw talent, over just having a fancy certificate.
They're vetting the capability, not the bureaucracy behind it.
Now, hold on. Does this mean a big company should just ignore regulations and hire some random freelancer off the street for their main audit?
Good point. No, probably not.
Of course not. That's where compliance does matter. If you need that ISO cert for a contract or cert in empanelment for a government tender.
Well, you need it.
Right. The board or the insurance company might mandate it. You can't just wave that away.
Exactly. But the key takeaway here is that compliance is often the minimum bar. It gets you in the door.
Okay.
But the fact that the world's biggest tech firms actively supplement their security with skilled individuals outside that formal structure, it proves the method and the depth of skill are often more critical than the company's formal status.
So even if you hire a certified firm, you still need to look deeper.
You absolutely do. You need to verify that deep technical skill exists within that firm. The badge itself doesn't guarantee it.
Okay, so technical skill is the engine. Now let's talk about the roadmap. Following standards. We're moving from just raw talent to disciplined process.
Right.
Compliance itself is good, but what the sources highlight is this idea of compliance awareness, internalizing the intent behind the standards. That seems to be the real differentiator. Precisely. It's not just about having the certificate on the wall. Compliance aware means the team consciously, meticulously follows the why behind the rules.
The established methods, the documentation, the global best practices.
Exactly. Even if the company itself hasn't, say, gone through the full ISO certification process yet, they understand the principles and apply them rigorously.
Let's name some of these frameworks because the sources listed key ones. These aren't vague ideas. They're concrete guidelines.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got things like the cert in audit frameworks, often for specific local requirements.
Essential in some regions.
Then there's ISO IE 27001. That's more about the overall security management system, right? The governance.
Correct. Think of ISO 27001 as the management playbook, how you handle information, train people, manage risk, govern the whole security process.
Good playbook. And then for the actual testing methodology.
That's where something like NIST SP 800-115 comes in. That's much more of a technical cookbook.
Cookbook, I like that.
Yeah, it details the steps, the phases, the documentation needed for a thorough VAPT execution. Planning, discovery, attack, reporting. It's all laid out.
And of course you have the OWASP Top 10 for web apps.
A classic. Still incredibly relevant.
And frameworks like PTEs, the Penetration Testing Execution Standard for overall structure.
Right. So a smaller, maybe non-certified but highly disciplined team can take these frameworks, NIST for the how-to, ISO principles for the how to manage it, OWASP for common web flaws, and build their entire process around them.
And potentially do a better job.
Easily. If they follow that methodology rigorously, document everything properly, focus on the intent, they can absolutely outperform a larger firm that's just going through the motions, ticking boxes to keep their certification valid.
So compliance becomes an outcome of doing things right, not the goal itself.
That's the ideal scenario. Strong practices lead to compliance, naturally.
Which leads us perfectly to the third element, maybe the most crucial one, ethics. The driver. This is what separates a professional partner from just, well, a hacker.
Oh, absolutely non-negotiable. Ethics are the bedrock. The entire trust relationship is built on this.
So what does that mean in practice for VAPT?
Several key things. 1, you only test with explicit written consent, clear authorization, clear boundaries, no scope creep.
Right. No surprises.
2, findings are reported responsibly and kept strictly confidential. You don't gossip about client vulnerabilities.
Makes sense.
3, never ever exploit findings beyond what's necessary to prove the vulnerability, and certainly never misuse any data you might encounter.
Crucial.
And 4, and this is a big one, always prioritize the client's safety and their remediation efforts over any personal gain or, public recognition.
That point about recognition, that feels important. What happens when ethics break down there?
Well, you see situations where a firm finds something nasty, really severe, and instead of quickly helping the client fix it, their focus shifts. Maybe they delay the detailed report while they write a flashy blog post about it.
Oh, wow.
Or they leak hints to the press, trying to build their own brand before the client has even had a chance to patch. It turns a security engagement into a potential PR nightmare for the client.
That's a massive breach of trust.
Yeah.
Putting their own fame ahead of the client's safety.
Exactly. It shows their priorities are completely wrong.
Yeah.
Ethical alignment means the client's security always comes first.
So if ethics are the foundation, then the final deliverable, the VAPT report, that's the structure built on top. That's the ultimate measure of competence and trust.
It really is. A certificate might look good initially, but a solid, actionable report provides lasting value. It's the proof of the work done.
But so many reports are just dense.
Yeah.
Huge documents filled with fluff.
Oh, tell me about it. Those 300-page monsters where 290 pages are boilerplate or scanner output? Useless.
Right.
A good VAPT report needs to do several jobs well. It has to speak to different audiences.
Okay, break that down. What are the must-haves?
First, for the tech team, the developers, clear, detailed explanations of every single vulnerability. And not just theory, you need proof.
Proof of concept.
Exactly. Screenshots, maybe a video, the actual commands used. Irrefutable evidence that this is a real issue.
Okay, evidence first, then what?
Second, you got to translate that technical risk into business risk immediately. Map the findings to standard severity ratings.
Like OAuth risk ratings or CVSS scores.
Precisely. CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, is great for this. It gives a standardized score so management can instantly grasp the severity and prioritize alongside other business risks.
Makes sense. Prioritization is key.
Third, and this is where so many reports fall down, actionable remediation guidance.
Not just patch your systems.
Ugh, no. That helps nobody. You need specifics. In this file, auth.php on line 127, the check login function is vulnerable to SQL injection. You need to use parameterized queries. Here's a code snippet showing how.
That's actionable.
Guidance developers can actually use to fix the problem.
Yes, empowering them to close the gap. That's the goal.
And finally, it needs to be written clearly enough for the non-technical folks. Management compliance teams. They need to understand the overall risk posture, what the impact could be, and what resources are needed to fix it.
Connecting the technical dots to the business bottom line.
You got it. It needs to bridge that gap.
Okay, this really brings it all together. The sources are painting a clear picture of what truly effective VAPT looks like. It needs a partner who is, number one, technically strong, deep current knowledge of attacks and systems.
Check. Number 2, compliance aware. Their internal processes, their methodology, it needs to be tightly aligned with those global standards, ISO, NIST, certain principles baked right in.
Discipline.
Right. And number 3, ethically aligned. Total transparency, confidentiality is sacred, and the client's trust and safety come before anything else.
And when you get those three things working together, that's when VAPT stops being just a hoop to jump through.
It becomes more strategic. Exactly. It actually empowers the organization. It gives them real, measurable security improvements tailored to the threats they actually face. It shifts VAPT from just an audit to a vital part of their defense.
So let's leave our listeners with a final thought, something actionable. Based on everything we've discussed, it feels like the procurement mindset needs a serious update.
It really does.
We need to stop asking only about the signature on the report, the logo, the certificate,
Yeah?
and start asking, who is actually technically capable of finding the critical holes before the real attackers do?
That's the core question. The success of ethical hackers and skilled, focused teams in securing even the biggest companies, often through things like bug bounties, proves capability can exist outside the traditional certified box.
So when you're evaluating partners,
Probe deeper. Ask about their technical processes. Ask tough questions about their ethical commitments. Demand to see examples of their reports. Are they clear? Are they actionable?
focus on the substance, not just the seal of approval.
Absolutely. Because the ultimate measure, the real certification, isn't the paper. It's the quality of the results they deliver and the integrity they demonstrate while doing it. That's what truly matters.